Well, hello, friends. It's Misty Klobuchar here with Marketing Sweats. And do I have a fun episode for you today? I have my business partner and longtime friend, Tim Leesman, sitting across from me. And a couple weeks ago, the staff came out to me and said, Misty, you're approaching 100 episodes. So for episode 99, we want you and Tim to sit down together and tell the story of Samantle. And I loved that recommendation because just a few weeks ago, Tim and I were standing in front of a crowd, and man, do we make people laugh because we're so different. So he's better at telling that than I am. And so here he is, Tim Leesman. Thanks for being here, Tim.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm excited to be here.
So I want you to start from the very beginning. You know I love your farmer kid background. So tell everybody about your upbringing, where you were born and raised, and kind of your career aspirations even as a kid.
Yeah, it's something I'm very proud of. One thing people that know me know about me is I like being different.
Sure.
Nothing excites me about having a similar story or point of view to any other business leader you would meet. And I think that started early. Grew up on a farm about half an hour south of Peoria. Very small town, 300 people, 16 people in my graduating class from high school. So I always win that argument. Everyone thinks they're going to beat me, and then I shut that down quickly. But yeah, from an early age, I respect and love and value growing up on a farm, everything it did. But I knew very early it was not for me. And I'm pretty honest with myself. Number one, I do not love manual labor. It's not my thing. I don't think I was built for it.
Sure.
God bless. There's a bunch of people that are. It's not for me. I'm super strong-willed in a lot of ways. My parents would tell you, they're like, you either better be the boss or you better be a lawyer, as much as you like to argue and as much as you like to kind of be in charge of things. And I was like, I agree. That's the goal. Let's figure out how to make that happen. So I was like, well, what do I want to do then? And the one thing at the time I was just fascinated by was Nike. Which sounds weird, but I just loved, this was, Michael Jordan, heyday, Nike's everywhere, just do it as a thing. It's the coolest brand. I love sports growing up. So those two things kind of went hand in hand, but I think the light bulb kind of went off for me when I would see branding at stores. I would see commercials. I would rip ads out of magazines. I would record TV commercials and want to watch them over and over. And I would be like, what is this? Somebody gets to do this. These things just didn't magically appear, right? Somebody made this happen. And I would see my favorite athletes in commercials and on posters and on cereal boxes. And I'm like, this is a career. I'm sure of it. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to get to the point of being able to do it, but I want to do it.
That's awesome.
Right out of college, I thought I would get hired at an agency. Right. I go to Bradley, you talk to the Career Center. They're like, everybody gets the job they want. It's a big selling point. I was like, great, This sounds fantastic. So I applied at 30 or 40 different agencies and heard back from none of them, not even a reply.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is awful. I'm 3 months from graduating. I've heard from none of the agencies I want to work at. I wanted to stay in the Peoria area. And finally I get an email back from Samantle. And I'm like, this is it. Thank God. That's kind of the one I wanted anyway. It's all working out the way it's supposed to. I'm always a big believer in being optimistic and things will work out. And I open the email and it's from the director of HR at the time. And it says, Kevin and Susie, our previous owners, I assume you want me to trash this resume. And I'm like, well, that sucks. Why would they do this? I'm like, I'm so confused and angry and disheartened. And I kind of slept on it. And I'm like, all right, clearly they didn't mean to copy me on that, but they have no interest in me. So what am I going to do? I kept that email, put it in a file, and was like, I'm not getting rid of this because now I'm determined I will get a job there. This is going to happen. I don't know how or when, but it will happen.
Give our listeners a sense of what we're talking about today, where we are as an organization, where we want to go. It's bigger than you or I ever thought it would be when we joined at about 20 people.
Yeah. I think I almost look at it as the kind of our ownership has been through more in the last 5 years than either one of us could have ever imagined. Brief story, I guess. So we take over the company from Kevin and Susie, and Maggie's alongside of us. End of 2018, 2019, we're just trying to get our feet under us. We're having some growth, which is great. End of 2019, we're like, this feels good, right? We kind of got our feet under us. We feel like we know what we're doing a little bit. And we're at ConExpo, Caterpillar's largest trade show that we're managing with them, have a bunch of people out there on site, and it's March of 2020. And everybody knows what happened in March of 2020. And I'll never forget it because we literally lived through day by day our world changing in front of us, and the realization of, I think, the weight we carried as owners of this company that maybe I didn't realize before. Those 2-year period where the whole world got turned upside down, I think I kind of looked at it, and I think you shared the same point of view of like, it was scary at first. And then we both were like, there's opportunity here.
Yeah.
Like, let's find the opportunity. Let's be the business that doesn't just sit back and be scared and try and force everybody back in the box we were in before. Let's look at this and say, hey, guess what? We're new to this, but now every other business owner in the world is in a new situation too that they've never dealt with. And the playing field's been leveled for us. So let's take advantage of it.
Right.
Let's start hiring. Let's start pushing ideas to our clients. And we did, and we saw incredible growth through there. And to me, it just really, that probably year or so after COVID solidified, like, we can absolutely do this. Not only can we do this, we can do this really well.
Yeah.
And I think the confidence just kind of really, took off in our ability to do this from there.
I always tell you, you have a chessboard in your brain that is amazing to me, because I can always ask you, what's our best next move, Tim? And you kind of have it all mapped out to the nth degree. Where did that come from?
Yeah, it kind of goes back to when I was a kid. Like, I always liked to push the limits and try new things, right? If you were like, don't do that, I was always like, oh, there must be some reason they don't want me to do that. That's probably pretty cool. I'm going to try and figure it out. So I think this idea of gambling and taking calculated risks and stuff, and that's me to my core, right? Like, I love taking chances and pushing the boundaries and gambling on things. But I think the thing people don't always appreciate that is like, well, you're reckless. You just like to do wild things and it's not dependable. I'm like, actually, I kind of view it the other way. Like, calculated risks, I think, are what's most important. And a lot of time, the risk in a business like this is saying no to things and not doing something when you want to do it and not acting impulsively. So I think that's how I would look at this. To me, it's more like poker than any other thing. When I think about how I like to play and think about moves, like anybody who plays poker, you probably fold 90% of the hands you're dealt. You don't do anything with them.
Right.
You're like, this isn't a great hand for whatever reason. I don't feel like it's strong and I'm not going to play it. And you walk away from it, and can be boring and tedious. Like, why are we not trying to do more things? And I'm always like, because I want to have all my chips ready when the right hand comes along, and then I'm going to go all in on that. And people are like, oh my gosh, went all in on that. That's crazy. You're betting all your money. I'm like, yeah, because I've been sitting here for 2 hours, not putting any money in, waiting for this opportunity. So when it presents itself, we can go all in. So that's always kind of been my philosophy on how we lead here.
And that's helped balance me a lot, because I'm an all in all the time kind of person, and you slow me down, and you talk about that regularly. But I appreciate that about you, because one of the values that, while we have a lot of differences, I think we've always held true, is that we are willing to take risks and go all in if we believe in something. And there's been countless opportunities where you've done that. Well, as I sort of round out the conversation and want to learn more about you and how you lead, it occurs to me that this is episode 99, but episode 100, spoiler alert, we are going to have our founder, Jim Simantel, be featured on the show. And he actually came to town and visited, and you were a big part of that. What I realized in that conversation, and I can't wait to share more, is just how much of our sort of philosophies have been baked in since day one. So the way that we were brought up in the company very much was informed by Jim's beliefs, and you being the consummate client service guy, I feel like you held a lot of his philosophies to be true as well. One of which is just this idea that client comes first, relationship above all else, right? So even as we've been growing the business and trying to be super innovative, you keep bringing us back to guys, if we don't have the clients wanting to spend money with us, we have nothing, right? So say a little bit more about why that's so important to you.
Yeah. I think in this business, you can kind of get lost in the idea that if we bring the most creative thinking, we will always win. It's like, no, this is a people business. We are in a service industry, and we are working with people. We are here in service of our clients. And we got to understand at an individual level, what are their criteria for the type of agency they want to work with? And I'm sure a part of it is always going to be, are they smart? Are they creative? Can they do great work for me? But it's also, can I trust them? Do they have my back? Do I enjoy the time I get to spend with them? All of those kind of things have to be baked into what we do. And I think so we try and help people understand that we're working with people. We're in a creative field, we're in a people business, right?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, that's what it is. And I think anybody in a sales role like has to embrace that first and foremost. Like
Yes.
you're in a people business. So putting that first and foremost, I think is important. Jim knew that, right? Like Jim, I had never got to talk to him, but when I did, I was like, oh my gosh.
Right.
And he was like, you're just like me. And I was like, I'm just like you. This is great. Like who would have known that we were, so similar in that. But yeah, I think that's a big part of it. And I saw from Jim too, the other side, his passion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like his drive to literally sacrifice himself and do whatever possible to grow and build this agency. And I'm like, that's Misty. Like I saw that in him, in you. And I'm like, that's the magic, right? The one person who can kind of help keep things in perspective and simplify and lift up and be optimistic. And the other person who is relentlessly just pushing and driving and sending things into directions that wouldn't go there without them. And you put those two things together and you can do just about anything.